Welcome back to the Rock Fantasy Files. I'm your host again, Steve Keeler. People don't remember who I am. I've been gone for a while. I haven't even been in this room in about a month, but we're
I
back.
saw you on the side of a milk carton the other day.
Yeah. Well, unless you're going to a million concerts like me in New York City area, then you saw me, but you didn't see me on Zoom. Obie's here. Count Ralphus is here. Denny Barth, who's traveling the world right now, has decided to come back to the Rock Fantasy Files. Me and him are back. It's been
Deceased.
a while. James has been holding down the fort with everybody for us while I'm away here doing stuff. And of course, the mighty Tony Dio is in the house. This episode is kind of put together tonight by me, and I just wanted to know what we're listening to. It's kind of an easy episode. What's everybody got in their headphones? What's on their turntables? I mean, you can say I'm copying from Pete Pardo's channel with his listening booth thing. It is a little bit, but it's something we've done a little bit in the past. I just come up with a different name.
We
So
all listen to music.
we all listen to music, and instead of having a topic, is there something you could say, hey, and it can be old, it could be something brand new that comes out that's blowing you away, or you're getting into. It could be something from 2 years ago, it could be something from 40, 50 years ago. So I'm just going to go around to one person each and just get their picks. I'm not going to go back and forth because we didn't really put a limit of 1, 2, 3, 4 records if you want to talk about it. So we'll start off tonight with Count Ralphus, I guess. Count Ralphus, welcome to the show tonight. What have you been listening to?
All right. Well, first I'd like to just mention my listening habits.
Okay.
So like when I got a concert coming up, I'll be listening to that band's whole discography throughout the month. If I got like a concert coming up next month that I know I'm going to and I'm locked in, and
Mm-hmm.
then the end I'll check out the opening bands and all that stuff. And then one of the other things is when I'm reading books, I like to, if I'm reading a book about bands or music, I like to listen to the bands as I'm reading the books throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Like after I put the book down and I listen to an album for that section or whatever. And another thing is new CDs that stays in my car. I just like right when I get a new CD, I just put it in the car and I leave it in there for a long time until other CDs replace it. That way you get to absorb it. And what was my other one? Did I say? So, oh, my other one is my drinking albums that are just albums that I go back to always. They're ones that, like, I got like 20 bands that are like my drinking bands like Motorhead, Venom, stuff that I like to party to. And like back in the day, we'd sing along to when we were drinking and stuff. So I got like my drinking bands. And so that would be the first thing that I could do this episode like once a month because I'm always reading a different book on music and I'm always got my 20 different drinking bands. So instead of just mentioning the one CD, I got the Blood for Blood banner. I got a Blood for Blood shirt on. I got some Blood for Blood Boston hardcore
Mm-hmm.
band. Um, People say they sound like Sheer Terror um, meets like Carnivore and Killing Time and Breakdown, like a lot of the old New York hardcore bands. Got a couple of the vinyls. This is like their first big full length, and this is like the one that I go to the most. Um, Spit My Last Breath is the name of it, and it's just one of the. I just never get tired of it. I listen to them at least once a month, and they're just one of the when I'm drinking, and I hear, I'm hearing I'm hearing an echo. Are you guys hearing the echo?
I'm hearing that out too. It's like if you're underwater, man.
Yeah, I'm
I'm not
hearing.
hearing it.
I'm hearing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe if we all mute ourselves except
Someone's got it.
Ralphus.
Yeah, someone's.
Has anybody got their volume on other than headphones?
I mean, I got my volume on, but the phone, like, it's never been a problem before.
It's not coming from your. Now I'm not hearing it. Oh wait, now I'm hearing it. I
I think
wasn't.
it's
I didn't
coming
hear it
from
when you were
yours, James.
speaking. Yeah, because I didn't hear any echo from you. You
It's
gotta
coming from
turn
me?
something down. Yeah, because because anybody else who speaks, I can hear the echo, but I can't hear it from when you speak.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Move forward. I guess.
Right, well, I so yeah, then the other thing is I'm reading this book. Now I don't hear it. All right, I'm
Yeah, we
reading
don't
this
hear.
book, Denim and Leather, about the new
Okay.
wave of British heavy metal. And it's great. It's 400 pages, pictures, and just goes. It's like a kind of like a round table, like what we do, but with like tons of different guests in here. Lars Ulrich is in here, fucking Paul Diano and Dennis Stratton and Malcolm Dome and all these people that had a part in that whole Neil Kay and all the people. But anyway, as I'm reading it, it's like it goes through all these different bands. And one of the so I just like been listening to a lot of new wave of British heavy metal. I've just been going through stuff as I've been reading. I'm about halfway through that book, but just today I was listening to Witchfinder General, and I listened to Witchfind this week, and Diamond Head I've been listening to a lot lately. One of the better bands of this era, and my favorite of the new wave of British heavy metal, except for like Iron Maiden albums, is the Angel Witch debut. But even like the later ones, this is like 2019, so it's like not really part of the new wave of British heavy metal, but they're a new wave of British heavy metal band. And the same one with this one. This Diamond Head CD came out in the 90s, and I was listening to that this week. But yeah, I just like when I'm reading books, I like to read about. I like to listen to whatever I'm reading about, and yeah. Besides that, one of the other listening habits is definitely doing homework assignments for all the episodes that we do and stuff. And like tomorrow, me and Tony are going to be having Chris Cafferty's going to be on. So
Oh
I've been
wow.
playing some Sabotage and stuff, but I also have pulled out these two Spirits of Fire albums that he's on.
Hmm.
And the first one has has Ripper Owens on it and Steve DiGiorgio playing bass on both of these albums. So these have just been really fun going back, having an excuse to go back to these albums and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. But I could like do this kind of episode at least once a month with all different
Cool.
bands to talk about.
You're more than welcome to do it whenever you like. Cool. I guess I'm gonna cheat. I got my notes here. I'm going next. How's that? So albums I'm listening to in heavy rotation since seeing a band last week is the band Enslaved. I have been seeing a bunch of shows, and if it was a week before that, it would have been Tormentor because I just saw them and I was delving into their material. Tormentor is actually it's Attila Caesar, who is the lead vocalist from Mayhem, and got to see them for the first time ever in New York City at a place called TVI in Queens, and actually walked up on them. I got there very early, and they were hanging out outside, and Attila actually didn't know who I was. I was walking out, and he got up and he said hello to me. He thought I was a promoter because he was waiting to meet the people that were promoting the show. And I said, no, I'm not a promoter, just a fan. But we chatted a little bit, and it was a killer show. But anyhow, I'm going back to seeing Enslaved last week. And pretty much all I've been listening to since I went to see them, and I hadn't been listening to them too much before that. And I'm a really big fan of them in general. I mean, for those that aren't familiar with them, they start out as pretty much black metal, Viking metal. They're also Norwegian, and they're more like prog now. They're very progged out and very I don't know, just great to listen to, especially if you listen to stuff like if you grew up in that era and like ELP and Rush and stuff like that from that era. Listening to them now, it's a mixture of the black metal style and Viking and mixed in with prog, and I really love them. But the albums that it was an amazing band. The whole thing was solidified after witnessing that live performance, especially the last two albums. I was diving into a lot. Hot Guard, and I really cannot get enough of the song Homebound. I keep getting it in my head. Actually, the drummer is now the guy that sings clean vocals in the band. He came in a few years ago. I met him and talked to him the other night. I meant to jot down his name for this, but I did not. And it's just the band's so tight. They've been playing for years. the whole album's great, but the Homebound song is just amazing. A couple other songs that stick out to me is the Sequence, Fires in the Dark. Also, I've been listening to the latest, which is their 16th studio album, Heimdall, which came out in 2023. I actually saw the tour last year also. They were with on Insomnium, but they were just they had another band with them that wasn't too big of a that what they did was Enslaved came to the States. They played one date in Montreal, one date in New York City, and then they did Milwaukee Metal Fest. They came here just for that. So I think the Heimdall's a freaking masterpiece. I love that album. I love the title track. It's absolutely kick ass. And it really kicks in around the 419, 420 mark of the song if you listen to it. And it's just when I saw them play it live, it seems like they play it effortless, but it was so good. And I'm trying to read my notes. Congela, also a very strong track. Kingdom, Caravans to the Outer Worlds. It just, I don't know, I just don't feel like listening to anything but Enslaved after seeing them. And sometimes bands do that to me. You can see a band that's like so, and then you're like, I don't really, they weren't so great live. So I don't really want to listen to them. You might be into them before, but just the opposite with Enslaved. Opposite with a lot of bands. Another album I've been listening to, I actually brought along here. I didn't use my props, but I have the new Elevate, the Swiss band. It's entitled On. And this just came out maybe in late April. And some of the tracks that I thought are strong on that are like Prodigal Ones, Premonition, Harvest. They're a Swiss folk metal band if you haven't heard Elevate before. And I do have my props from Enslaved. I got to hang out with them. They signed my records last week. I spoke with them a little bit about one of you guys coming back, and they actually said they were not sure when or if they were coming back at the moment because of the visa prices, expense, and tour buses and everything else. I spoke with one of them, and it's very tough to tour United States as a European band right now, just with the tour expenses and everything else. Another band I saw recently, I've been in heavy rotation, is Nea Bliviscaris. They're an Australian band. I just saw them on the Chaos and Carnage tour a couple weeks ago, which was Dying Fetus, Cradle of Filth. It was like a giant, like this metal fest on a Thursday night in New York City. And it was Flesh God Apocalypse, Nea Bliviscaris, and there was a couple other bands before that. And I tell you what, Nea Bliviscaris to me, it really stole the show that night. But I've also been actually listening to a band a little bit. I gave it a chance. I had not listened to Cradle of Filth in probably 20 years. I haven't listened to their new releases, but I did. I thought they were fun to see, and it was Danny's still kicking it out, but they had let out an album called The Screaming of the Valkyries, and I was listening to that quite a bit after the show. But so I guess that's pretty much what I've been listening to now. And keep him busy. As Ralph's doing homework for books, he's listening to that, and I'm doing it because I was going to shows, so it all kind of works out in the same way. And if I go to Baltimore, I'm going to be in the car for 4 hours down and back, so I'll be listening to plenty of music on the way back and forth. So, Tony Dio, you want to go next?
Yeah, man. If you're in Memorial Day traffic heading to Baltimore, you'll probably be in there even longer. Maybe 6 hours.
I was kind of planning that I would leave there Monday morning and drive to Ocean City, Maryland, thinking that it's going to be close. It's 3 fucking hours from there. I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm getting close home. It's crazy how far that is from there. You would think, Maryland's not that big. Maybe I'll drive there and check out the boardwalk or something with a couple of my buddies. But that plan is totally fall through too. So
I hear you, man. Okay, so one thing I've been playing a whole lot. This is kind of like a melodic rock band called The Fifth. They're actually from North Carolina, and this is their newest album. It's called We Are One. They're on. There's a picture of the band on the back. They're on RFK Media, which is Ron Keel's label. It's not RFK as Robert F. Kennedy. It's Ron fucking Keel. But yeah, RFK Media released this, and it's it's a great record, man. It's just good hard rock, melodic hard rock. Of course, Roy's got a really good singing voice. Roy, the singer, he was in a band called Cold Sweat back in the late '80s with Mark Ferrari, who was in Keel, and Tia Carrera's Waynesboro band. So that's kind of what they were famous coming out of. But yeah, this is a really good record. I'm really loving it. Known these guys for years and followed them, and I think this is the strongest thing they've ever done. But it's just got some really, really good songs on this. So if you're into the melodic hard rock stuff, check out the Fifth We Are One. A couple other things here. I don't have the actual physical copies yet. But streaming a lot of music at work, and we're listening to stuff. And one thing I've been listening to is a new EP by Candlemass called it's just the Black Star is the name of it. And man, they've been cranking stuff out pretty regularly. I did notice the last record, Sweet Evil Sun, came out in 2022, but they've got a solid lineup now. They've got all the classic members, except they've brought back the original singer. Yeah, there you go, man. The original singer, Johan Landquist, who sang on Epicus, Dumicus, Metallicus, has been back with them now for several years. And excuse me, the new album's really, it's got 2 new songs that are just what you expect from Candlemass. It's solid doomy and heavy. And then they do a couple of cover songs. Those actually, the new songs are Black Star and Corridors of Chaos. And then they do 2 covers. They do a Black Sabbath cover, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and they do a Pentagram cover, Forever My Queen. Excuse me, guys. I have got allergies like crazy going on.
Go on.
I hear you.
Driving me nuts lately.
I had it really bad
constant.
last week. Last week I had it so bad, the allergies.
Yeah, change of weather constantly.
Yep.
And another one that we've been streaming at work is I'm not much into the remake albums, but I've had fun with this one. This one's cool. It's Udo Dirkschneider under the Dirkschneider band, not UDO, not Accept, but the Dirkschneider band has done a Balls to the Walls Reloaded album. So he did the whole album, and it's got guest vocalist on it. Balls to the Walls features Joachim the Broden from Sabaton. London Leather Boys features Biff Byford. Fight It Back features Melee from Creator. Head Over Heels features Neil Molan from Dynasty, and I don't know how you said the name of that band, Amaranthi or something. I don't know. But,
Amaranth?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Losing More Than You've Ever Had. It's got Michael Kiske from Halloween.
Nice.
I love that one. It's a great one. Love Child features Ylvar Eriksson, Brothers of Metal. And Turn Me On has Danko Jones. Losers and Winners has Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, of course. Guardians of the Night has Tim Ripper Owens. And Winter Dreams, Doro was there. And they made a video. You guys may have seen the video. Doro and Udo they're out in the forest, and it's snowing, and they're doing Winter Dreams. And my friend said, "Man, I was really disappointed in Doro." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "She just left Udo there in the wilderness there to die."
Yeah, Udo dies at the end of that video.
Yeah, she left him to
when
die,
did this come out? This came out a while ago.
No,
it's been out a month or so.
Okay.
Oh,
The video may have been out about 2 months.
I've seen.
Wow, if you're going to do a re-recording, this is the way to do it with all different special guests and stuff. This sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
I had a hard time finding that record from my store. I still never stocked it. I had Ed Farsley tried to get me to order it. When it came out, I couldn't find it. It was weird.
And
what label is it on?
Do you have it, James?
It is.
I don't have it, but is it AFM?
It's either AFM, maybe it's that Nuclear Fire or something. I'm not really sure.
He's usually on AFMs.
Yeah.
But only other yeah, I've listened to this the last few days. It's called Tommy's Rock Trip. Tommy Clufatos, who's the drummer in Black Sabbath on the last shows that they did, it was filling in for Bill Ward. He just played at my friend's party this past week. He's got a band, and he had a bunch of bands at his house, and he had Tommy and Tommy's backing band, which is a band called Lost Hearts, is Tommy's backing band. Yep. And this is a recording he was selling at the show. It's stuff he did several years back with Eric Dover from Alice Cooper's band. Of course, Tommy played with Alice as well. He played with Rob Zombie, and he played with Ted Nugent. Mm-hmm. And this stuff is straight up rock and roll. And this is where he comes from. He was telling me afterwards, that's the kind of stuff he grew up on. It's very Chuck Berry influenced. But, like he did in the concert the other night, he did two songs. He did two Chuck Berry songs. He did Old Carol and Round and Round. And I was thinking, well, Nugent did those as well, And when I started listening to this, I'm going, okay, because he's playing a bunch of these songs live. And I was going, man, some of that stuff reminds me of the filler tracks you get on the Nugent albums from the 70s. And I don't mean filler in a bad way. I just mean like songs that weren't the hits and the more well-known songs that we know from the Nugent records and stuff that was kind of in between. Just good rock and roll, man. So Tommy's Rock Trip is really cool. And he put on a great show. And I saw also the night after that, I went to see Early Moods in Tribulation. And so I've been listening to some Tribulation stuff at work as well this week. And I wasn't familiar with those guys. So I was listening to Sub Rosa, which was 2024. And they had an EP in 2023 called Hamartia, I guess is how it's pronounced. And they did a killer cover of Vengeance to Pack from BOC on that. Thought that was really cool. I remember listening to it and I heard the little keyboards coming on at the beginning. I'm going, hey, it's BOC. And then the song kicks in and they were doing the cover of it, But yeah, they were great. They blew me away. I mean, they kind of reminded me of, like Icon era Paradise Lost meets like Typo Negative, and they kind of definitely drew a lot of the goth crowd and stuff. Goth metal people were there and stuff. But yeah, they played with Early Moods, and I love Early Moods. And so yeah, I had to check them out ahead of time.
I love that New Tribulation album. Now, On to Others wasn't at that stop.
No, they're doing some of the later dates. Yeah, this tour just started.
Weren't in New York City either. I think tonight that's there at MDF. That tour is that Tribulation and On to Others is I think on at the first.
On to Others
was last night or tonight, whatever the first pre-show or whatever is down there. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been spinning lately.
Excellent. And look who just showed up. My old friend Anthony is here. Manila is in the house from the Gen X Locker.
Oh.
Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. And we'll get to you in just a couple minutes. How are you?
What's left of the Gen X Locker?
Oh, really?
The Gen X Locker turned into the vinyl basement. Get it? Vinyl basement.
Okay. All right.
What do you know from Funny You Bastards?
Well, it's good to see you, and we'll get back to you in just a minute for what you're listening to right now. Let's go to who's turned into my center square, the world traveling Dennis Bigfoot Barth. There's been Bigfoot sightings all around the world now, I heard.
Yeah.
Even though Bigfoot got a haircut, so he doesn't really look like Bigfoot anymore. He's got a clean cut Bigfoot now.
I got hair everywhere else.
I got hair everywhere.
That's
awesome. So yeah, the beauty of like doing this rock fantasy file for the last like 3 years or even longer is that you guys always recommend music that I don't know. So when I travel, I go on the planes or hotels like all over like Asia and everywhere. I think I got a lot of time when I'm not working to listen to music. And when I'm not listening to music, I'm reading books like this one.
Nice.
So
I read it. I just finished it.
So amazing, right?
I just finished it.
And like similar to like my good friend Count Ralphus, we get very similar reason why we listen to music, like before show, drinking bands, party bands, and things like that. So I listen to music constantly, like all day long, always. And it goes, there's no pattern set. I can go from Cryptopsy to Led Zeppelin to Budo's band to Super Suckers. Like there's no pattern. I just go with um, whatever I want to listen to at that time. But because I read like the Rush book, I went and I always do the back catalog. I never really fully, totally embraced the first four albums, like
Wow.
Carrots of Steel, Fly By Night, the debut, and 2112. Not because, I think because when I started to see Rush live, like the first album was Permanent Wave, Spirit of Radio, and all that. And of course, like Hemispheres and these that kind of era, like the Exit Stage Left live album is more what I like, what I grew up on Rush. But every time I listen to old Rush, I like prior, like all the words of stage and prior to that, I always discover a part of a song that I didn't remember or something that's catch me that's so fucking well done. Like it's so well done. And the fact that Habs hockey player Steve Schott introduced fucking Alex Lifeson to Geddy Lee is mind blowing to me. To have two kids at school in elementary classes going like Steve Schott, amazing hockey player, and Geddy Lee, who started to discover music together, to me is such a amazing coincidence. And the fact that he introduced Alex Lifeson to him is, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And it makes it even more special for me because it was a Habs player and not the Islanders player or elite. But yeah, so so I've been listening to a lot of Rush. The other band I've been listening to, and that could be like Tony Dio influence. Like Tony always remind me that it's okay to listen to glam rock, heavy rock, normal rock, what my band members call dad rock.
Oh,
So
bad rock.
lately I've been on a Warren DeMartini fucking like appreciation session and been listening to Rat Invasion of Your Privacy, Out of the Cellar, Dancing Undercover, and really practicing his solos and phrasing and how he do things because
How is he doing this?
when I was young, it was not okay to listen to Rat in my circle of friends, right? It was either like you listen to Battery or you're fucking a poser and you should leave the room. But I don't know. I would go home and listen to Rat by myself so nobody would know. And there was something about their music that always fucking catch me, like the riff, something. It was something dirtier, heavier than everything else. And I think like Warren DeMartini was a big part of that. So I've been listening to Rat a lot and playing guitar to the song, and it's been great. Another band that I've been listening to, and maybe only Count Ralphus will know who the fuck that is. It's Death Sentence, a punk band from Vancouver, BC. They only released some demos in the early 80s. And I'm actually going to go see their show on Friday, a reunion. Like they haven't played for a while. So Death Sentence, it sounds like very close to Agnostic Front, GBH, Exploited, a little bit of all those like DRI and all the mix of band. It's quick, fast. And Vancouver used to have like a huge punk scene, not as much metal. They used to have like Witch's Hammer, Assault, and Carry On and those bands, but they used to have Dayglow Abortion and DOA and Death Sentence and a lot of other bands, House of Commons that used to tour excessively in the New York area with bands like Gangrene from Boston and a lot of other punk band, hardcore punk band from that era. And then the other thing I've been listening to, so I read this book called Tabarnak, which is a French Canadian swear word, which means tabernacle, or all the French words from Quebec are based on church props that the priests used to, like, like the cup to drink the wine and all that stuff. That is all like Quebec swear word. And this was written by Ian Campbell from Neuraxis. Neuraxis is a death metal band from Montreal, like a extreme metal band. And it all talks about like the Quebec extreme metal, from Cryptopsy to Cataclysm to Voivod to Aggression to all kind of like even Beyond Creation and newer extreme metal band from Quebec. So that's what I've been listening to from the old days. New stuff. I'm really enjoying the new Sacrifice album, Volume 6.
Need to get that.
They played this week. They played this week, last weekend in Vancouver. I couldn't go. I was coaching at a hockey tournament, but they played here. It was packed. Everybody was fantastic. And that album is as solid as it gets from a thrash album. It's like top quality, top four, big four. It matches like everything's out there, and like Sacrifice needs to get more recognition for what they do. It's the four original member. They never change. They're from Toronto. They like the Maple Leaf, and I hate them for that. But they're still my buddies, and you got to give kudos for writing such a great album. The new Cryptopsy, I was able to get an advanced copy. They have one song right now available on Spotify. Cryptopsy is back. They're back to what they used to be, like, and it's so heavy. You guys got to take a listen. The new Midnight, I was able to go. It's coming out tomorrow. They have a song out called Cleveland Metal. They had an album in between. Let There Be. What was their album?
Let There Be Witchery.
Yes. So Let There Be Witchery came out, and it was very great, like a complete success. Put them on the map even more. Toured with Merciful Fate and Creator, I think.
Yeah.
Then they quickly released another album that was like subpar. Like I don't know why they were pressured. The label, I don't know what it is, but the songwriting is not as good as Let There Be Witchery.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree.
That's okay. That's okay. But
Here
this one is back to. This one is even better than Let There Be Witchery. So you guys gonna enjoy that, and it's great album. Great album. I think it's Russ.
It's a covers album.
Huh?
It's a covers album. Everything on it is covers.
Yeah. But you'll see the way that it's done, like the execution and everything is just completely great. And on the like really weird stuff that I've been listening to, I'm a big fan of the Budos band from Long Island. They're like a 10-piece horn section that plays like music that you would listen to if you would go rob a bank. It sounds like Quentin Tarantino, really weird vibe music, but it's great.
Danny, do you know where they're from on Long Island? Because I'm born and raised on Long Island.
I don't know. Huh. But these guys are huge Slayer fans, and they like, Metallica and all that. They wear like the shirt on stage, all long hair guys playing bongos and shit. But I highly recommend that. Anything new I've been listening to, everything else has been Aggression. We're in the studio right now. We're recording 19 new songs.
Wow.
Double album.
Yeah, maybe we'll do 2 albums. I don't know. But we've been working on that, and we have a lot of special guests that will be playing on the record, and some of them are Rock Fantasy File members.
Oh my goodness!
So get ready for from some new music from us as well.
Obie, I didn't know you sang.
He's like, but that's it. A little bit of mix of everything, but listening a lot of music, and definitely a lot of Rush, a lot of rap. So it's been a lot of fun.
Denny, break it into 2 albums. Don't do a double album. It's too much.
No, I know. That's what we're gonna do. We're just trying to like pick the right song, so it's not like, okay, one album's super strong, the other one not as much. So I don't know. We'll see when
break it into 6 EPs. Make 6 EPs out of it.
Kenny,
6
there's
All
a good
right.
interview, the good new interview with the guys from Sacrifice that Sam Dunn did on the Banger channel. Check it out.
Very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
I seen that. I've been trying to get that CD, and it's fucking like $30 for some reason on Amazon. It's like I can't find the normal price for it. I
Give
don't
it
know if
time.
Keeler's
It'll
gotten it in at Rock Fantasy yet, but
I
I've been
don't
really
think
wanting
I
to get
have.
that new Sacrifice.
Let me know. I'll try to look for it for you.
Yeah, try to get that new Sacrifice because it's
What label
ridiculous
are they
for
on?
some reason. I would imagine that's the reason why it's got to be some weird label.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
All righty.
But it's been out for a while now. And I just gotta say really quick about him reading the Getty book. I read that right when it came out, but I also had read the trilogy of books that Martin did, and that was really cool because the first one, Anthems, was like all the early albums, and then the second book is like the mid albums, and then the third book is so like that was like a really great one for like going through the whole discography. And I read them all like kind of back to back with the Getty book, and it was like 1,400 pages of Rush I read in the last year.
Wow.
So, and I read a couple of books before that, but just last year alone, I read like 1,400 pages, and I was like kind of rushed out for a while. But it was really cool reading it though with the book and the sections, you know. But just wanted to comment on that.
All right. Let's move over to Norway and talk to Obie. Then we'll hop over to James and we'll finish up with Mr. Manella. How's that, everybody?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a problem to get that Sacrifice because it's on High Roller Records.
It's on High Roller.
Yeah.
And that's the same that Phantom's on.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
so
But
I should be
it's
able to get it.
also
Now, I
really
still
fun.
haven't gotten the Phantom in because I ordered the Phantom when we had him on the channel, and I thought it was supposed to, and now it was showing me getting it in June, like the release date got pushed back in the States or something. I don't know.
They are also on our record level called Cursed Blessing Records. I don't know why it's double, but
Huh. All right. What are you listening to now, Obie, other than Taylor Swift? I don't know. I'm seeing if he's listening to me or not.
well, this assignment wasn't as easy as I thought it would be because I usually use my time on home assignments for the channel. So I try to discover, like, I don't really listen to music except my homework. So I had to
That's not good.
Yeah, but I had to dig a little deep and kind of find out what I was listening to in between, like not like really banging my head to, but just something that I listen to like just for myself without doing it for the channel. I'm gonna start with Brave the Cold. It's probably gonna reflect here, but it's Brave the Cold.
What is it called? Brave what?
Brave the Cold. It's Mick Harris from Napalm Death's solo album, I guess, or solo band. He got Dirk from Megadeth or ex-Megadeth on drums.
Ooh.
It came out a few years ago here. It's on Mission 2 Entertainment from Chicago. It's kind of like you have some Napalm flavors in it, and you have kind of some industrial flavors in it, and you have some punk, straightforward punk kind of things that he likes, like because Righteous Pigs and kind of Mick Harris kind of loves a lot, or Nail Bomb or whatever he has been on. But yeah, this album came out a few years ago. I really like it, and it's got like hallmark of Tyranny and Monoheist Retrograde. It's got a lot of different things. You got like instrumental that are purely keyboard and kind of industrial and kind of like you feel like you're in like with the artwork kind of like just let plays like after the world has gone to shit. And the album is called Scar Kitty.
Okay.
Yes. And then I gotta thank Ralph for getting my memory up to speed. A band that's been interviewed on this channel, Avatarium from Sweden, which is the guitar player that produces the Candlemass records. And this is the new album there's a video on this channel if you guys want to look it up.
Yes.
And I think this is the best album they have done because the sound is much more, it breathes a lot better than the previous albums. It doesn't have anything to do with the songs in themselves. It's just, I think the production, they changed studios and a bit, and I think that did a lot of good things because when you have your own studio, you kind of can relax a bit. You can like work on your own pace and you don't feel like anything hanging over you. So I think that comes through in this new album. And yeah, it's got a really cool artwork and it's got like anything from, I guess, a little folky to parts with Jen Ann Smith. She likes the folk. She is a jazz singer originally, so but she can sing anything. And the heavier stuff is Marcus' thing. So yeah, check it out if you haven't checked it out yet, and check out everything else by them too. We have also got this one. It's and you get a signed thing. It's got also a bonus CD in it with live tracks, I guess, from Leipzig, with like the classics until newer songs. It's really cool. My final band is gonna be what I'm wearing. It's from Germany, cytotoxin. If you know anything about nuclear power and stuff, you'll know the word. This is their 5th new album that came out last month. It's called Biograph, right? It's their 5th album, yeah, and they got a new drummer, and I think the artwork is really cool because he got Chernobyl on top that he's carrying. Cytotoxin is what you call Chernobyl death metal. They focus everything around the Chernobyl disaster back in April '86. Everything is around it. It's like they can go from this a song on here that's Condemnation that goes on like the hospital with the volunteers that got put in to put out the fires in the nuclear plant without telling them what was coming afterwards, and they would melt, just purely melt from the inside. Wow. Yeah, so it's you really go into detail. So basically, if you go through all the albums, you will learn a lot about Chernobyl that the common folks don't really know. So, and they are, I would say, they have some slam, but they are mostly technical death with slam influences. So not in James ballpark, but if you like it heavy, if you like it technical, go for Cytotoxin from Germany.
That's a great That's a great concept to have.
That's a great concept to have.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm hearing the echo again. I'm hearing that.
The echo. Hello.
All yeah, right, it's kind of cool that you got your own concept, like your own genre, because there's no competition and there's no one like copying you, so you have kind of something for yourself. And they made a lot of music videos with like actual footage from the power plants. They have a friend that's, because you can only go there for a certain amount of time, but he was lucky to get a permit to actually go inside the control room of the factory and all kind of places, because in the control room or in that area, you have to be very careful with the radiation, because you can have one part of the room that's I got radiation up the yin yang, and then you got the other place of the room that's hardly anything. So it's very risky to go there. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, you got a counter.
Right. I watched a recent documentary on that, and it's crazy how like it's all this regrowth that's going over that whole area because it's just been abandoned. They're not allowed to go back there because it was such a disaster, and I could see a whole concept being built around that, kind of like a like a nuclear assault band, but like just concentrating on just that disaster. It's cool.
Yeah, now they're gonna probably have materials for a new album because the Russians are bombing around there, and when you bomb in that area, things come up from the earth. That's may not be so good. So
and you shared that with me a while back, and they sound real heavy, really cool.
All right, Obie, is that what you got?
Yeah.
All right, great.
I had to dig deep, like I said. I've been focusing on the channel.
Okay, good. Let's move on over to James Delisle. See what he's got.
Oh,
what's
going on? So my first pick is we had recently Tracy G on the show not too long ago. It was very cool to hang out with him and talk to him. So being that he did the show for us, I wanted to go to his Bandcamp site and buy some music for him, which is, you can find that at tracyg.bandcamp.com. So I went and sampled a couple of his albums, and I picked out one that I really love. It's called Volando. And this is all acoustic flamenco stuff, all instrumental, really, really fantastic, interesting guitar work on it. Very Latin, very cool. He's got Ray Luzier from Korn playing all the percussion on this.
Wow.
And it's really, really good, man. These are great Sunday jams, great, mellow, but getting you in the mood to get up and get some work done. I like to open up the record store the past couple Sunday mornings and really crank this up loud, put some incense on. And the customers come in like, dude, what are you listening to? So I've been trying to hip them to the Tracy G Bandcamp. Hopefully it's translated into some sales for them. Just everything on this, all 11 tracks are so good. Zapatos Baladores, El Conejo's a great one. Track 3, I like that a lot. Reflections, awesome. The title track, number 7, Volando, is killer. And the last one's great, Ritmo Caliente. Really, really awesome flamenco chill stuff. Great one to, partake in leafy green medicinal herbs. Good stuff. So also Tracy G fucking signed it for me, man. He's a good dude. Really good people. So yeah, thank you for that. Go check him out once again, tracyg.bandcamp.com.
So
I got a couple.
So that episode you guys did, which was honoring Ronnie James Dio.
Yes.
I didn't realize until in hindsight that was the 300th episode of the Rock Fantasy File.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I was planning on doing something special for the 300th. So I guess you guys doing Dio was special.
Yeah, that is.
So that was the 300th episode. I was like,
killer.
That coming up in a couple of weeks, we got to do something, but that was already a couple weeks back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 2 for me, I can't get enough of the new Ghost album. I really can't stop listening to it. It's so good. It's so catchy.
Definitely catchy.
It's definitely my second favorite Ghost album in the catalog. I like this one.
That's a tall one to pull there.
It is. I like this one right behind the debut.
Wow.
What I love about this one is the guitars are so upfront again. It's been so long since the guitars were really like a main focus of the recording. And I really love that on this. I love that the guitars are loud and upfront and in your face. And I've been wanting that ever since the Infestus Human album, which I dig, but that's where I feel like the keyboards kind of became the main focus of the band, and the guitars started to really kind of take a back seat, to the keys and the vocals. Another thing I love about this album is the lyrics on a lot of the tracks are very personal. If you read the lyrics to Peacefield and Lacrima and Guiding Lights and De Profundis Borealis, very personal lyrics that deal, from the way I read them, that deal with like mental health and depression and, lots of, really relatable stuff going on. They still have their satanic thing with the song Satanized and Marks of the Evil One. And Umbra is a really cool song because it's about banging in a church. That's pretty fun.
Huh.
That's wholesome.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, it's just the guitar work on this being so upfront. The vocals are great. The production on this is awesome. The drums are so clean and so clear. And the bass really stands out great too. I kind of like that the keyboards take a little more of a backseat. Yeah, and the artwork is another thing I really love on this. You can really sit and kind of stare off while the album is playing and look at the artwork. There's so many skeletons everywhere, fittingly, because the album is called Skeleta. But there's also a big like glam vibe in this one, man. There's parts where the guitar solos in some of these songs remind me a lot of John Sykes era Whitesnake. It's got that same sort of pentatonic shredding, and it's also just the way it was recorded. It's probably got to do with the equipment that was used as well. They probably used vintage cabs and heads and stuff, but it reminds me a lot of that extra, that 80s Whitesnake, John Sykes vibe. Very good. Very good album. I can't stop spinning this one. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, we've been playing that one at work too. That one's been streaming a lot as well.
Selling quite a bit of that album. I didn't sell as many as I thought it would because like Target has a big promotion with that record where they give you something. I don't know. But
yeah, they give you
they're big enough with Target. I haven't been. Have you been selling a lot of it, James, in your stuff?
Honestly, no, and it's surprising because I play it just about every shift since it's
sold
come out.
A handful of the vinyl. I think I got all but one of the CDs still, which is weird.
I sold more CDs than vinyl, which is funny. Yeah.
So my question for you is, James, as a big Ghost fan you are, Papa.
You know what? I'm not a massive Ghost fan, but I do like them quite a bit.
We were sitting around the other night somewhere. We're talking about metal in general, talking about the Ozzy Black Sabbath gathering in Birmingham in July. And maybe we should do an episode on this, like a preview. We're going to do Black Sabbath Sabotage next week, 50th anniversary. But I'd like as you look at all these different vocalists that are going to this that aren't with other bands, like what song do you think Papa is going to perform? Like what Black Sabbath song? All these guys are going to be going, I guess they're doing Black Sabbath songs, or they could be doing Ozzy songs. So you've got a lot of different vocalists going to this thing. So
it could be like the Freddie Mercury concert where they had bands performing Queen songs and they did some of their own stuff. Remember?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, but if you figure if the full band's going like Tool, yes, but if Steven Tyler is going by himself,
like Sammy Hagar is going and he's just doing like Flying High again, and maybe
Sammy
like another
Hagar's
song.
going,
I think.
He's
doing Flying High again though. Like he announced what song he was doing.
That, and then you've got you got like Jonathan Davis going. You've got a dude from Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst is going. You got the singer from Sleep Token going.
Jakey Lee, Rudy
Papa
Sarzo
would do a good job at this Black Sabbath, just the song Black Sabbath. I think
I can see that.
So that'll be an interesting. And we're way off subject now, and I'm making that episode longer. I'm still a little shocked that there's not some kind of a pay-per-view something.
But it hasn't announced it yet. It's still a little ways off. But
it is. You know what? Yeah. It's a little ways off, but we're almost.
Yeah, they should announce it by now.
That's 4th of July weekend, so it's getting. Before you know it, bam! It's summertime. This year's flying by already. But anyhow. James, back to you. Sorry, I hopped in and interrupted everybody.
It's all good. I think a really cool song that Papa would do would be Sleeping Village. I think he would do that very well.
That's the Sleep Token guy because he's Sleep Token.
Sleep Token's doing that one, man.
I heard he's gonna do Papa Don't Preach. He's gonna do Madonna.
That's Madonna. That's not Black Sabbath.
Well.
That'll be their next cover, though. You watch.
And you talk about Ghost popularity. They hit #1 in the Billboard Top 200 with the first hard rock album since AC/DC's Power Up, which was
much deserved.
2020.
Deserved.
And then Sleep Token did it this week. So Sleep Token hit #1 on the Billboard, which is
#1. Holy
came out of nowhere.
Crazy. Wow, that's crazy.
That's the two.
Satan is alive.
What's that?
There you go.
Satan is alive.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Anyhow,
so my last one is going to be my boys right here from Bethel, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Sacred Oath. I just saw them at the beginning of the month. They played the movie theater right down the street from my house, and it was a fantastic show. And these guys still kick ass. I went to the merch table after the gig and grabbed this. They only had a couple copies left. This is their album from 2010, World on Fire. And here's another one with great album art. And the music on this is just so killer. Meet Your Maker is a fantastic song. That's one that's still in their set list. Sand Rider is on here, and that's my favorite Sacred Reich song. Sacred Oath song.
You have a Sacred Reich piece on, by the way.
Yeah, you get the Sacred Reich. Sure.
And I didn't even do that on purpose. Face of Evil is a fantastic one. Drums of War is so good. There's a track on here called When the War Is Over. It's a really cool, slow, emotional ballad. And I just had a really bad week the week before last week. Personal reasons, shit I was going through. And that song really was so cathartic to listen to and just helped me out with what I was going through, and fucking felt so good to hear it and crank it up and play it loud. Rob's vocals are so incredible on this. The riffs are so good. And this album just rocks. It's great. If you like Maiden and Priest and Merciful Fate mixed with a little early thrash metal, you'll love this. It's my personal favorite Sacred Oath album. I think they still have some copies of it left on vinyl. You could go to sacredoath.net and click on the tab in the top, I think, left part of the screen and go to their merch section. They've got copies of it left on vinyl, and they've definitely got copies left on CD. This one belongs in your collection if you like old school stuff. And this is my last pick.
Excellent. And James,
don't forget to watch James's really in-depth interview on this channel that he did with that band a month ago. He did a really big in-depth video.
And James,
thank you very much.
Before I let you go, for folks that are watching from the tri-state area, you've got a gig coming up real soon.
Yes, I does. Crucial Pain is playing on Saturday night. We are opening for Last Pharaoh. It's this Saturday night, May 24th. We're playing at PJ's Restaurant, 85 Route 6, Baldwin Place, New York, which is pretty much Mayapack, New York.
Okay.
The doors are open at 8 o'clock. We're charging $10 to get in. And there's all these rumors of something really cool and special happening at this show. It might have something to do with the fact that all 4 members of Reaper are going to be in the same room for the first time in a year and change. It might not. I have no idea. But this is going to be a great show. You should come out and check it out. Crucial Pain and Last Pharaoh at PJ's on Saturday night. Once again, 85 Route 6, Baldwin Place in New York. $8, 8 p.m. doors, $10 to get in. Come out and fucking hang out with us and buy me some beers.
There you go. Cool, man.
Keeler, where's that? Where's that Mayapack? Where is it? I don't even know where that is.
Where's Mayapack? It's in Rockland County.
Yeah. Oh, Rockland County.
No, it's Westchester, but it's like
Westchester.
Upper Westchester.
Okay.
Yeah, close. All right, that area.
All right. Last but
All
certainly
that far
not
from the chance.
last but certainly not least is my old friend Anthony Manellis. Good to have you back on the Rock Fantasy Files. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. I know I've physically lost a lot of weight. I know a lot
You
of it
look
was
great,
looking.
bro. You
Yeah,
look,
you look
Yeah,
good.
I'm down 90 pounds.
wow.
90.
Wow.
Wow.
I used to be.
Yeah, so with that being said, I've been unpopular opinion. I've been on a very spiritual journey. Very unpopular opinion. I've gotten back to God. Sorry.
Okay.
But with that being said, also getting back into music and creating it. And first and foremost, James, I have to thank you for being my guy on the inside with the beginning of my bass journey and letting me text you and pick your brain about some stuff. And
Yeah, man.
no, man, honest to God, right here, because I've gotten a few dicks that have said X, Y, and Z, and you were like, dude, don't listen to that.
Yeah.
And I can't. I was, I apologize for taking my time but I figured, you know what? I might as well out you publicly and thank you publicly because you deserve it. And I thank you. I thank you for that. So
I appreciate you.
yeah, well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much because you are definitely a key pawn in the game of me playing bass. So I do appreciate that.
That's awesome.
So with that being said, Steve just mentioned it was like, hey, like this episode was basically because I missed the beginning because I was at my dad's for pizza night. Was like, what do we have on our turntables? What we've been listening to?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so mine's going to be very simple. It's just all Rush.
A lot of Rush tonight, guys.
And
yeah.
The funny thing with me is
there.
I literally just turned 50 years old. I just had a birthday. I turned the
Happy
big 50.
birthday.
And thank you. But I just got into Rush. I never cared for Rush.
Wow.
And another unpopular opinion, and I really don't care, I'm going to say it. One of the biggest reasons why I didn't like Rush is I couldn't stand their pretentious fan base. I'll say it. What do you know about the Holy Triumphant? I'm like, oh my God. The more I got into bass, the more people started to be like, hey, that Geddy Lee guy. I'm starting to amp up my vinyl collection more. And I started with this record by Rush. I started with Moving Pictures.
Good start.
Yeah. And I as one of my best friends says, I got into the weeds with this album. Now, the advantage that I have over most of you fart knockers is if you're all into Rush, guess what? I am listening to these records for the first time. You haven't done that in 30, 40 effing years. So, for that, I just want to stick to everybody. I mean, you can get mad at me, but no, I'm listening to these for the first, and it's true. I admit you can get mad at me all you want. You can call the police. I never heard Red Barchetta in my life until 3 months ago.
Wow.
I never heard it. I know, unpopular opinion. Everybody's sitting there going, is he serious? I'm serious. I'm serious.
Hey, you found it now. Yeah, you found it now. We all find stuff late, it came across your way now, and now you found it. And now you see how great it is. That album is fucking perfect.
Well, that's where I started. Can't put it down. And then to circle back on what Danny said about Mr. Geddy Lee. So Jackie, my wife, actually got me Geddy Lee's book on audiobook. So I got to listen to him narrate it, which I will say I highly recommend the audiobook as well to hear him narrate it. And I think that also led to, I was like, you know what? I guess I got to get more Rush. So then my friend Aaron, a lot of my vinyl has been people that have just donated vinyl to me that just don't listen to records anymore.
Okay.
And said, I have all these records. I don't have a turntable. Do you want them? So 60 albums here, 70 albums
That's-
here, 108 albums from one of the guys in my band. So now I'm like ADD nightmare. I'm trying to listen to everything. And it's actually our friend Aaron Schmidt. So there was some rush in her collection. She gave me about 65 albums. This was one of them.
Wow.
All the World's a Stage.
Very nice.
Definitely got into the weeds with this one. And then I'll leave the best for last. Oh, well, Moving Pictures is my favorite, but like the one I'm into. Signals.
Nice.
Really getting into. I do not have 2112 on vinyl yet. It is on the list. Lastly, and the one I'm really starting to get into the weeds with, if anybody can guess.
Power Windows.
Grace Under Pressure.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
And I don't know, just something about this record. After Image, Red Sector A, and
Dude.
come to find out as I'm getting more, in depth with the band, that I didn't know Neil was the second drummer. Again, call the cops on me. I didn't know. I didn't know John Rusty
call the
was
police.
Yeah, no, I know how some of you guys get. I know. But, I always say at the end of your day, at the end of the day, how does it affect your day that, I'm getting into Rush now? I find it kind of funny, the two different personalities in the drummers, but the two different styles. I mean, all right, let's face it. I think it might be a unanimous decision on the panel that Neil Peart was definitely the better drummer than John Rutsey. But personality-wise, John Rutsey was definitely more personable than Neil Peart. He was, like, watching some of the old footage. He reminded me of my friend Brian, our friend Brian, Brian Rapp, where he would want to engage the crowd. Hey, what's everybody doing? What's going on? We're Big Circus. We know who you are. John Rutsey had that. He's behind the drum kit going, we're Rush, and we want to thank everybody for coming. And yeah, this is from our debut album. Here's Working Man. And it wasn't Geddy saying that. It wasn't Alex saying that. I was like, okay. Neil only has one real audio basic, one real contribution there. It's him saying subdivisions. Other than that,
he's introverted, but he
and I didn't know
he was actually really
was like
funny
such a
person.
primary writer, and so much of the writings were him. So more I got into the weeds of it, I was like, wow, this guy is like as just staunch and stoic as like, but yet he's doing a majority of the writing, and I'm like, wow, okay. So yeah, definitely just really enjoying my Rush journey, and I know it's been hit or miss with a lot of my friends. Some people are really like patting me on the back, and some people are like, ashamed that they even know me.
I saw.
Like, how could you even be into rock and classic rock this long and not?
In 70, I saw Rush for the first time in '78 Hemispheres tour.
Okay, so I was 3. So yeah,
you talked about the song After Image. I used that as a eulogy at my dad's wake. That song.
Oh wow.
Because if it starts out, suddenly we're gone from all the lives you left your mark upon. And
now shame on me, because I was at your dad's wake and I didn't know that.
Well, now you know, and now you know that the song has a lot of meaning for me.
And now
we didn't use it word for word, but I actually had Mary, the lady that runs the funeral parlor, actually spoke the words for me that night.
So yeah, like I said, definitely just really, I mean, shame on me for always just, not listening to them. And
you discovered something that you didn't listen to in the past. We've all done.
I never thought that would happen at 50, but like I said, I've gotten so many records within the past 2 months, probably, over 185 records that are just piled everywhere here in the vinyl basement. I mean, everything that I've been listening to, I mean, from the Pretenders to I finally got this on vinyl.
Nice.
In pristine condition. This was the first Iron Maiden cassette I ever had.
Those are nice gifts you got there, Anthony. Because something like
Man,
that,
somebody hooked you up,
for
man.
pretty good money.
Like I said, in total, just in the donations alone from Aaron and my founding member of my band and guitarist Bobby, I got 111 records.
Nice.
Wow, that's good. Most of the time, people want to give me records. It's a bunch of old Elvis records. I don't want
and you know, it's funny you say that. I have zero Elvis in all of this. There was zero Elvis. I got a lot of Ozzy, a lot of Zeppelin, a lot of Santana, Toto, the Doors. These guys, they didn't make it anywhere, but they were pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And
Not
this
the
is
best
one record
record.
I did want to just talk about. I know this is an unpopular opinion record because everybody says that everybody's favorite album, you know, especially like older people like me, Gen X metalheads, it's like, you know, shout at the devil, shout at the devil. But I think when we talk about music, when we talk about records, it's not so much, what we started. It's, you know, that sounds cool. It's where we were in our lives. I always revert back to that.
Exactly.
So that album came out in 1985. I was 10 years old, born and raised on Long Island, living on Long Island, spending my time between my parents' pizzeria in Queens and, like my grandmother's house, my parents' pizzeria. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing is that the only two bands or the only two like artists I ever really listened to at that point was Motley Crue and these guys, Run DMC, because these were my hometown heroes.
Yeah.
My parents' second pizza place, which was in Queen Village, like a stone's throw from Hollis. And this guy here, Daryl McDaniels, used to come into my dad's pizza place all the time. And, you put two and two together and you're like, wow. So, and I always think of that. So when I put on Theater of Pain and, when I hear We Need a Lover Tonight, it's like, from a bass perspective, I'm like, yeah, it's not the greatest bass line, but it's easy and I could jam on that. But then all of a sudden I was like, man, I remember where I was. I remember being 11 years old and being at my grandmother's house and having this in my Sony Walkman. So that's why, and I'm glad I've gotten to rediscover so many of these albums. And again, I hate to use it again, but getting to the weeds with all of them. And
I bought that album the day it came out. I bought that album, Theater of Pain, and it was the last glam metal album I ever bought because I was getting into Slayer and everything at the same time. But I loved the first two Motley Crue, so I just went out and bought it. Didn't think of what they look like and anything, but it was a huge disappointment for me.
Yeah, I was disappointed in that one the day it came out. I rode my bike several miles to buy it, brought it home and played it and rode back and returned it. And the guy let me trade it in. I got Mob Rules.
Wow.
I just got it out on vinyl.
Anthony was 10 years old though, and he had just hopped into.
Oh yeah. He didn't have the disappointment of having being a fan of the first two albums and then going to that. Yeah. Like it was just at the time it was the same thing with Turbo. It was like the same story to me. Like
I do
if you got
into
Turbo years later, like it wouldn't be.
Wait, hang on.
And I do still own it too.
So unpopular opinion was, but I'm going to redeem myself, Ralph. So everybody put your torches and pitchforks down. Once upon a time,
I hate you that bad.
No, I mean, once upon a time, Turbo was my go-to Judas Priest album because that was my gateway into Priest. That album came out. I was in summer camp. One of the older counselors had it. Remember the first track I ever heard off of that was Locked In. You got me locked in. Yeah, and then, but then
I totally get that though, because you didn't have Screaming for Vengeance and all these old Sin After Sin albums, all these old albums that led up to that. So you didn't.
Yes.
If you come in backwards, it's totally different. It erases like that whole like the letdown of it all. There's no letdown because you're going backwards. It's totally different.
Yeah. So like I said, that was my go-to album. I built on that, and then I admit when it came to Priest, I always like to say this. I only know the hits, But then Steve, earmuff it for me. One of my close friends, Ryan Scow, he gave me this.
No.
Ooh. And again, unpopular opinion, the only thing I knew off of Sad Wings of Destiny was what? The Ripper. That was all I knew. In fact, if gun to my head, if you said what album is the Ripper off of, Ant? The Titanic soundtrack. I didn't know.
Unleashed the East.
So I started to put this record on, and then again, James, take a bow. Like he's put on a record, just try to find the root note, get the bass, and I'm like, all right, and so then me and Ian Holmes started to bond, and then I was like, wow, Ian Holmes plays a precision bass like me, and then suddenly,
Ian Hill.
Excuse me, Ian Hill. I apologies, and then suddenly, yes, I will admit, I'm not kissing anybody's ass. Did this replace Turbo? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, sure.
And it is by far and I've gotten some Priest recently. I've gotten Screaming for Vengeance, Unleashed in the East.
That's the one that covers the old stuff,
Lot,
like everything up to that point. That's
British
one of the best.
Steel. And like I said, I've been listening to them, but you could either high five me or stab me. I keep going back to Sad Wings of Destiny. I cannot get off this record. The only thing that pisses me off is that I cannot find. My wife and I have Amazon Music. I can't find the record anywhere on digital media.
Huh. That's weird.
YouTube will have it for sure.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's like if I'm listening to like in my truck, it's like my Amazon Music is right there. So then it's like YouTube, and then it won't come up because you can't. But anyway. But I'm glad I have it, and that's basically what
wait till Unleashed in the East gets you. Keep listening to that Unleashed in the East.
For sure.
Like I said, I'm really happy with the collection I've gotten. Stuff like this, like David Gilmour's debut solo record. Most of you guys know me. I'm a diehard Pink Floyd fan. I'm like a Pink Floyd historian.
Of course.
I mean, Roger Waters and I don't speak religion. I don't speak politics, regardless of. I just make a mention of God. That's it. But I'm not going to get I'm not going to get into depth. If there's one thing I can't stand is I just can't stand, Roger Waters, political stance. But that's nor here nor there. I mean, I have everything by Floyd on mostly digital media. Like I said, I'm building up on vinyl. I never heard this record before, and I said to myself, "Wow, this is basically like." And again. Nobody cringed. This is just Anthony's opinion. I said to myself, this is like the Floyd album I've always wanted, where I can hear David sing, I can hear David play guitar, but I don't have to listen to Roger whine about his dead dad. Because that's all the wall is about. I'm a rock star that lost his father in Anzio, and I don't want to live anymore, and I don't want to be a rock star. And then the final cut, I'm living in a nursing home, and my father was killed in Anzio, and I don't want to be. Shut up! Can't So over the years, that's what I've built over.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'll still listen. Obviously, I'll still listen to The Wall. I'll still listen to the final cut. But it's like Batman. It's like, or what Superman would say to Batman: "Get over your dead parents." So yeah, that's what I love about. I love about this record. This is a great record. It's a little damaged. This one was a little bit damaged. I did the. If any of you vinyl heads know the wood glue trick, I did the wood glue trick on this, and man, it really took care of it. And that's really it. I got
awesome.
I got Dancing Undercover right there. Invasion of Your Privacy right there up on the now playing. And then lastly, the newest record in my collection, the newest, like when it was recorded.
Yeah.
I picked up 2025's All That Remains Anti-Fragile.
Oh.
Nice.
Which is the newest record in my collection. None of my records go past being recorded. Nothing is before 1993. I did that math in my head. Out of the hundreds of albums that I've had, I think the newest one I have is quickly Tomb of the Mutilated. What year did Tomb of the Mutilated come out?
93, yeah, 93, 94.
That might be somewhere. It. A toss between that and Stone Temple Pilots' Core. I know, kill me with sticks. But hey. So yeah, that's like the new. It's so funny. That's the newest record I own, and that's basically that's it. I just like I said.
I got one thing to tell you, Anthony, before I go into something else, is that you said you read or you listened to the Getty book, but his book
What?
before that book is a giant table book
My
about
big bad
bases.
bass
Your
book.
passion
Yes,
for
yes.
bases. Yeah. Yes, it's a whole book about and he actually did an in-store where you could go a book signing, and I was gonna go, but it was $75 for his book, and for me and my wife to go, she would have to buy a book too, and we've done that every time we go to a book signing. But for $75 for the book, it was a lot, and we were kind of on the fence about it, and we didn't realize it was like a limited thing. They let like
Yeah.
300 people in, and that was it. And it so as soon as we said, I said, you know what? I'll never get to meet him any other way. I think I'll buy his $75 book and just wait outside or whatever, And I don't know. We were gonna do it, but we didn't do it. And then when we thought about doing it, it was sold out. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was gonna sell out. I thought like because Ozzy, when he did it at the same place, the thing went like a mile, the line went like a mile down the
Yeah.
road, and he's.
You see, now you have that regret, and I have the regret that on 2 different occasions in my life, I was asked to come see Rush with somebody, and I said, nah, not my bag.
Yeah.
I waited a long time too with Rush. I loved moving pictures when it came out when I was a kid. I loved it. And then when I seen the way they looked in the 80s, I was biased on just the way they looked. And I didn't fucking like them for years and years. And then when I finally went back, it was like the late 90s that I went back. But I was catching like Vapor Trails coming out in Snakes and Arrows as like a new album. So
Yeah.
but I could have seen them a million times, and I
When I
regret
was
that too. But luckily, I caught the Time Machine tour where they did moving pictures in
Yeah.
its entirety, and I caught the very final tour. Oh, not the final tour, but I caught the Clockwork Angels tour, and I'm just really happy that I caught it twice. But I should have caught them a million times.
Didn't
I
I run
regret it.
into you, Ralph, at Saratoga at a Rush show?
Yeah, we were both. Yeah, yep, I seen you. We and Sam
Sam
from
Zero was there too.
Mortician.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
there.
And
I
Yep.
it was
when I
like
was
this super hot, muggy night. Remember that night?
when I was working
Yeah.
as a
Yep.
when I was a
Ken
radio
Dorr
DJ
was.
with when I was a radio DJ with WRRV,
Yeah.
at that time, before Andrew Boris fired me, I admit I took some parting gifts with me when I left. Yeah, I stole a lot of shit. One of the albums that I remember, one of the CDs I remember swiping, and it's in a box right over there, was Counterparts.
Oh.
And it was the only Rush album I have or had at that point on CD. And I remember listening to that like into the rest of the 90s, like into 94, 95. I would go back to that CD. And again, maybe it was because I wasn't going into the back catalog. But now Counterparts is actually on I literally have a shopping list. It's like my mission is I want to get at least every studio album.
Yeah.
On vinyl. That's what I want to get. So I said, next up, I definitely want
But
to.
now that you found God, don't you have to return them albums to the radio station now that you found God?
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
not
think
at
you
all.
should like maybe and
Well,
then
the
actually go out and buy them and pay for the money to support
No,
them?
I look at it this way. I've confessed to my sins, and God was there when I did it, and He forgives me. And
All right.
He
Well,
also knows that Andrew Boris is a prick.
Anyhow, I guess it's probably
That's
time we
okay.
wrap this episode up and thank everybody for joining us tonight. Anthony, good to have you back. James, who's been keeping.
I'd like to know from everybody what's the next Rush album I should get.
All right.
Power
Well,
Windows.
Get Clockwork Angels, their final album. Fucking amazing. One of the best albums to go
North
out
is giving
on
the thumbs
after
down
such a
to
long
Clockwork
career.
Angels, Ralph.
Who was?
Danny
Who was?
is from Canada. He has to be the one to
Oh,
tell.
I fucking love that album, especially for the bass. Oh my god, the bass just overrides the whole album. It's
All right. So we're going to
amazing.
ask Danny's opinion on this, Ralph.
Do you have exit stage left?
So this is
Of
all
course,
I have,
yeah.
Denny. I only have.
I thought that's
I have All the
Okay,
World's a
so-
Stage. I have Grace Under Pressure. I have Signals and Moving Pictures. That's all I have right now.
What's he need, Danny?
So all the words of stage is the first 4 albums, songs, and 1 live record.
Yeah, that's
My
a double
favorite.
album.
Exit stage left is the next 4 album, best of in a live setting.
Because I
So
don't
you
have
get
2112 yet.
That's okay because 2112 is on All the Words of Stage anyway. Most of the album is on there.
Yeah. Side one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've
Yeah.
got Exit Stage Left.
Well,
Exit
Exit
Stage
Stage
Left is
Left
the
is
one
your
album
number
where
one
we
to
all
get.
said,
Yeah.
how is it possible that that guy can sing, play bass like that, keyboard, foot pedal, and all at the same time? He's like an octopus. So
Yeah.
He is.
And that makes sense to get a best of, like the live albums are best of. So yeah, get all the live albums. That
yeah,
covers the whole
it's a
era.
great.
You know?
It's not as good at All the Words of Stage, in my opinion, because I'm super old, but it's fucking close second. It's like Kiss Alive too. Same concept.
All right. On that note, thanks, Denny, for coming back. Will Denny be back next week, or are you going far away again?
Quick, I'm in Egypt.
Egypt.
Wow.
All
To
right.
the Pharaohs.
Curse of the Pharaohs.
There's a
Well,
good chance I
yeah.
won't be here.
We
Nile.
will be,
Way down in Egypt.
we will be talking.
He's going to be listening to a lot of Nile in the next month. For
We'll
the
be
next
talking-
episode, we do like this.
Only
And
Nile,
then,
exclusively
Why
Nile
not?
for the next week.
If I let me wrap this thing up now, guys. Next week we'll be back. We'll be talking about Black Sabbath Sabotage, and we'll be talking about other things. Black Sabbath, maybe a little chat about the final Ozzy Osbourne appearance too. So we will. Danny, are you flying to Birmingham that week? So you're gonna have business that week?
No, I'm going to
Special
Frankfurt, Germany, and then straight to Cairo.
You're not a special guest at Ozzy's affair.
Don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next time on the Rock Fantasy Files. Bang.